The moment the message appeared on her phone, Maren's heart sank. "Hey, I know this sounds crazy, but would you come to my ex's wedding with me?" It was from her childhood friend turned confidant, Luke, a single dad who had spent the last 5 years quietly raising his little boy, Max. Maren stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity, her fingers trembling. Weddings were supposed to be happy, filled with love and laughter, but for her, the thought of attending her ex's celebration was a storm of old heartbreaks, bruised pride, and unresolved memories. Yet there was something about Luke's calm sincerity that made it impossible to say no. "Before we dive further, if you believe in kindness and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soul of Light." This story might just remind you that even in our darkest moments, hope can find a way. Luke wasn't just anyone. He had been a quiet presence in Maren's life since high school, always reliable, always compassionate. They had lost touch after graduation, but life had a way of weaving people back together when it mattered most. Seeing his name pop up brought a strange warmth, like a memory you hadn't realized you missed. But she hesitated. She didn't want to feel the sting of rejection again, didn't want to dredge up the ghost of someone she had loved and lost. The day of the wedding arrived faster than Maren expected. Luke showed up at her apartment with Max in tow, a grin that was half nervous, half excited plastered across his face. He was dressed in a tailored suit that somehow made him look both refined and approachable, the way he always did, and Max was bouncing with the innocent energy of a child who didn't yet understand adult heartbreaks. Together, they were a picture of the ordinary miracles that life sometimes handed to you when you least expected them. As they approached the grand hall where the ceremony would take place, Maren's chest tightened. The bride, Grace, looked radiant, every bit the picture of perfection Maren had once hoped to achieve in her own love story. And there he was, her ex, Adrian, standing tall and polished, with that familiar smirk that had once made her heart leap. She wanted to look away, to disappear, but Luke's hand gently brushed against hers, steadying her, reminding her that she wasn't alone. The ceremony passed in a blur of flowers, vows, and soft laughter, but it was the reception where the real storm began. Maren had prepared herself for awkward glances and polite nods, but what she hadn't anticipated was the unspoken understanding that grew between her and Luke. He didn't try to overshadow her or demand attention. He simply existed alongside her, quietly making her feel like herself again. Every laugh they shared, every gentle nudge to Max, felt like a small rebellion against the fear she had carried for so long. As the night deepened, Luke whispered something that made her pause. "There's someone I want you to meet." He led her to a corner of the hall she hadn't noticed before, where an elderly couple was seated, radiating warmth. "Maren, this is Eleanor and Thomas," Luke said. "They've been waiting to see you." Maren blinked in confusion. "Me, yes," Luke replied, his voice unusually soft. "They're connected to your past, in a way that might surprise you." Eleanor took Maren's hand with a tenderness that made her heart ache. "You don't remember me, dear, but I've watched over you quietly for years. Your mother, she wanted me to make sure you were never alone, that you knew love even when it seemed impossible." Maren's eyes filled with tears. Memories flooded back, snippets of childhood she thought she had forgotten, the warmth of a home she had never fully known. The woman's voice trembled with emotion, and for the first time in years, Maren felt seen, truly seen, in a way that transcended loss. It was then that Luke's secret came tumbling out, a revelation that made Maren's heart thrum wildly. "Maren, there's something else," he said, his eyes fixed on hers. "When I asked you to come tonight, it wasn't just because I wanted to be there for you. It's because I've been in love with you for longer than I've ever admitted, and I wanted you to know that someone who cares about you completely would always be here, no matter what." Maren's breath caught. She had always believed that her heart was broken beyond repair, that love had abandoned her for good. And yet here was Luke, patient, unwavering, and fearless in his honesty. Her chest tightened as the weight of her own fear, and the years of pain began to dissolve in the face of something pure, something real. As the evening drew on, Maren and Luke danced under the soft glow of fairy lights. Max giggled at the sight of his dad spinning Maren around, the music weaving a tapestry of moments that seemed impossibly perfect. For the first time in years, Maren allowed herself to believe in joy, in love, in the quiet miracle of second chances. She looked around at the guests, the laughter, the shimmering decorations, and realized that life had a way of bringing the right people together at the right time. Sometimes it just took a bit of courage to notice them. Later, as the night was winding down, Adrian approached Maren, his expression unreadable. She braced herself for confrontation, for the old pangs of regret. But instead he simply nodded, a gesture of acknowledgement. "You look happy," he said, and in that simple line she understood something vital. Happiness wasn't about proving anyone wrong, it wasn't about rehashing the past. It was about embracing the people who stood by you, who lifted you when life tried to weigh you down. Maren glanced at Luke, who smiled back with that steady, unwavering warmth. She felt tears spill down her cheeks, not the tears of sorrow, but of relief, of recognition, of the profound beauty in realizing that love sometimes comes quietly, without fanfare, without demands. It waits patiently for the moment when your heart is ready to receive it. The evening ended with a gentle promise, a silent understanding between Maren and Luke that this night was only the beginning. They walked out of the hall, Max tucked between them, the cool night air brushing against their cheeks. Maren felt something she hadn't felt in years, hope, real, tangible, and alive. Before the story concludes, if this tale touched your heart, please engage with the video, like, comment, and share, so that the story of second chances and unwavering kindness can reach someone who needs it today. As they drove home, Maren glanced at Luke, and something she had buried deep inside herself stirred. A quiet courage, a renewed belief in love, and an understanding that sometimes the people who stand by us quietly are the ones who matter most. That night, she realized that life wasn't about chasing what was lost, but about embracing what was waiting patiently in the wings, ready to give her a love stronger, gentler, and truer than she had ever imagined. Let this story be a gentle reminder to cherish the ones who show up, to recognize the quiet heroes in our lives, and to never underestimate the power of love that waits patiently for our hearts to heal.